We will be solving the ecology section of the BHU entrance today, and actually, it is the most important part because if you notice in the analysis, if you do, there are more than 20 questions which come from ecology each and every year. So that's a lot of marks, and that therefore it makes it the most important. So without wasting time, let's just start. We will start with the 2014 question paper. Our first question is ozone day is one, is it September 6 or is it April 21, is it December 25th or December 30th? And so this all for the April 21st, December 25th are basically is the Christmas day, and 30 is not that important, except yeah, September 6 is the right answer. We have to remember this important days of the year because they are often a frequent question in the entrance exams. So, okay, next question. Which particulate size is the most harmful? Is it 8.0 micrometer to 5.5 micrometer, 4.5 micrometer to 4.0, 2.5 micrometer or less? And the last one we will go down and see. Is it 5.2 micrometer or 3 to 3.5 micrometer? Well, a particular particle, particulate matter is harmful when it is less than 10 micrometer or so, and when because it can go inside our lungs and cause diseases. So here from the lowest is the 2.5 micrometer or less, and it will be harmful. Anything less than 10 is harmful, but yeah, lowest over here is 2.5 micrometer or less. So the answer will be number 3 in this question. And is first question is Agenda 21, an outcome of the Earth Summit. I'm sorry that the grassroots watermark is there in the background, and I know it will be little bit difficult to read, so I will read out the question first. What they have asked, what does this Agenda 21 meaning over here? So it's a blueprint for the nation for reducing pollution level at a certain level within the given time in 21st century. Number 2 is a blueprint encouraging sustainable development of diversity through the social, economic and environmental measures. Is a blueprint for establishing high-tech special industrial zones in developing countries to boost their economy and reduce pollution level. Is a blueprint for the development of Pakka house in to every BPL family in 21st century. Well, so Agenda 21 is very important, and it relates with the sustainable development, and that's exactly the keyword we should remember. And whenever the word sustainable development you come across, that will be the answer if we say shortly. So answer number 2 is actually the correct answer. So we will move on to the next question. I also didn't say that that Agenda 21 talks about the 21st century only. Okay, next question. 55. Sorry, next question means the zone of the lake water body where light does not reach is known as. Now there are given 4 options: limnatic, littoral, benthic and profundal. From the options, first we will take a reference of the picture. So here is the picture where we can see that the land which is close to this water which is close to the land is called the littoral zone, where below which we can also see some plants, and then it comes the limnatic zone, where under which it is the euphotic zone, where there is no plant life. And from the starting of the land then to the end, till the end, where the land there is no more land and it touches the ground level, that is the benthic zone, and that is a zone where light cannot reach. So clearly from the 4 options, the third option will be the correct one. Next question. Okay, on the basis of variation in mean temperature along the latitude tropical region comes under 1, 0 to 20, 60 to 80, 20 to 40, or 40 to 60. Well, we will draw Earth over here, and yeah, so the equatorial zone we will first draw. From equator till the 20 to 23 degree is the tropical zone, this zone. Next is the temperate zone, and then comes the polar zone. After 23 degree comes the temperate zone, and from 66.5 it will be the polar zone. From the options we have to see that 20 to 40 degree is the will be the one, because tropical zone is still 22 to 23 degrees. So we will go for the option number 3. Okay, so we'll go to the next question now. Transition zone between two ecosystems is known as 1. Ecocline, ecotype, ecotone, or ecart. Well, these are very similar terms, and we have to know the definition of them all. First of all, ecocline is actually the difference between two species composition, okay, in to ecosystem. So this is actually taking us to the species level, but we want ecosystem, so this is not the answer. Next is ecotype. Ecotype is when a plant has two different different morphological variations in two different environment because of the habitat. So that's that again of the species. Next is ecotone. That is exactly what the question is asking. That's given in the question itself, and yeah, ecotone is the answer. And then what is ecart? Ecart is again about the species level, where we can see that if in the different habitats a plant of the same genus type, they have different physiological as well as morphological characters. So those are ecarts. So that's again species, so it won't be the answer. So next we will go to the next question is, concept of R and K selection for population growth and dynamics was proposed by E.P. Odum, MacArthur, Chapman, or Barber, Bork, and Peets. So actually in ecology, the RK selection is relating to the selection of the different combinations of trait in an organism, and that traits of the between the quantity and the quality of the offspring we are talking about. And this term actually was proposed by MacArthur. So our answer will be option number 2. We will move on to the next question. Who coined the term biosynosis? Look here, biosynosis is all about association of association of two organisms or more, which forms a closely related community, and this term was coined by Carl Moebius. Next question. The functional position of an organism in the ecological system is known as habitat or niche, a population, or herbivory. Well, if we talk about the functional position of an organism, then habitat is just the not the organism, it is the surrounding where the organism is. So the position of the organism is not related here, but niche is where a particular type of organism is found and it has its own position, that is in that particular niche, right, in that particular region. Not even population, where it talks about different different kind of species in a particular given region at a given time. Also herbivory is the type of, it's a nutrition of that organism, so that's not what we're talking about, and so our answer is number 2, niche. Next question. amount of living material in different trophic levels in a component population is known as, is it functional kingdom or standing crop, ecological pyramid or standing state? First of all, functional kingdom. What is functional kingdom? It is just the branch of ecology, okay, which is talking about the focuses on the roles of what each species play in a particular ecosystem. But then comes standing crop. Standing crop is exactly what the question is asking. That is, it is actually the total biomass of an ecosystem in a given time, and the total biomass of an ecosystem in a given time. So here in the question it is an amount of living material, right? So if we say that living material is biomass, it will mean the same. So next option we shall see ecological pyramid. Ecological pyramid talks about a graphical representation where we represent different biomasses in a pyramid structure. Next is the standing state. Well, standing state and standing crops में difference इतना ही है कि standing state is talking about the inorganic nutrients, and a standing crop is actually talking about the living material. So that's why in the question I have mentioned living material and not biomass. So our answer is number 2. Okay, next question. The maintenance of relatively constant internal environment under varying external environment is defined as ectotherm, endothermic, or homeostasis, or none. Well, homeostasis is the one. Homeo means constant. Sorry, status means constant. So here it is a type where a organism always tries to attain a particular temperature. There is a constant temperature and it remains in a stable equilibrium, right? But what is endotherm? Endotherm is when all the time the organism is trying to increase the body heat and to reach a certain level. And ectotherm is when organism is completely dependent on the environment it is in, and if it's it cannot change its own body temperature. It is dependent on the environment. So our answer for this question is number 3, homeostasis. Next question, what is the value of lapse rate is? We have to know what is the definition of lapse rate. Lapse rate is the rate at which the temperature is changing with the change in height of a organism or of a body. So they have given us 3 values, 6.5 degree per C per 100 kilometer or 1000 meter or 100 meter. It's a fact-based question and we have to know the answer. That is, it will be the 1000 meter. So option number 2 will be the correct option. Next question, the plant which grows better under sunlight is called, is it sciophyte, is it heliophytes, is it halophytes or hydrophytes? Well, hydrophytes clearly we know it's water loving plants. Then halophytes it is the salt loving plants. Then heliophytes and sciophytes are both related because they are both dependent on the sunlight, but one, it is a condition, that is the condition is the amount of sunlight. In sciophytes they require a very low amount of sunlight, but heliophytes are the ones which grow in high amount of sunlight. So the plant which grows better under sunlight will be heliophytes. Option number 2 will be the right answer. Next is the environmental resistance stands. Now they have given 4 variables and we have to write choose the option which is environmental resistance. Is it R, is it dNdt, or Kn by K or N? Well, obviously, and we know this, and this type of formulas and the variables are important from ecology. Our answer is number 1, R, which stands for the environmental resistance. Next question. The relationship between two species where one species is benefited while the other is unaffected is known as 1. Commensalism. Actually, it is right. It is commensalism, where one of the organism is benefiting from the other organism and the other organism is not doing anything and neither harmed nor taking gain having any gain, so it's not unaffected. So that is the correct option. But what is proto-cooperation? Proto-cooperation is when an organism takes goes and interacts with another organism only when there is a need. So in order to gain something, that organism goes and benefits. What is predation? Predation is when a particular organism hunts on the other organism and eats it. So one is clearly hurt and harmed, obviously, and the other is benefited. Amensalism is again when one is benefited and the other is harmed. Next question. That one is the right answer over there. Next question. Grassland with scattered tree is known as. Is it prairie? Is it steppe or savanna? Our answer is actually savanna, which is mainly found in the African region, where very big grassland is there and all the trees are very, very far from each other. That is scattered. That's that. But what is steppe? Steppe type of grasslands is when you find trees which are more near to the rivers and lakes only, but after that when it is the grassland there is no tree, so only found near the rivers and lakes. So that is steppe. Next, what is prairie? Prairie is found in the temperate region and also called the temperate grasslands, and these are mainly composed of grasses and not trees. So these grasses, they are of equal height and they are found throughout the grassland. So our answer is number 3 over here. Next question. The number of species per unit area is known as. Is it richness, evenness, both, or none? It is richness. Answer number 1 is the right answer. Next question. Brown air pollution is generated in traffic congested city is due to 1. Ozone, 2. PAN, which stands for PAN, which stands for peroxyacyl nitrates. It's a compound which is formed due to the photochemical smog, and this compound leads to the brown color in the air pollution, which causes irritation in our eyes also. So answer nitrate and ozone is not the correct options here. PAN will be the right option, number 2. Next is, in pond water body, the pyramid of biomass is it upright, both, inverted, or none? Is it upright or inverted? In pond we have an inverted biomass. We have to remember the examples of this kind of pyramids. So our answer will be number 3. Next question. Blue baby syndrome occurs due to excess of which chemical effluent in the groundwater? Nitrate, phosphate, sulfate, or carboxylate carbonate? The answer is nitrate. Nitrate is the compound which is responsible for the blue baby syndrome. This kind of diseases and due to ecological pollution or environmental pollution or compounds, is important to remember the compounds responsible for it. Okay, so here the nitrate will be the answer. Next question. In which greenhouse gas is more warming potential than other gases? Methane, nitrous oxide, carbon dioxide, or chlorofluorocarbon? The answer is chlorofluorocarbon, which is responsible uh, which gets out from the ACs and the refrigerators we have, it is collected in the environment and leads to ozone depletion also, and thus in the future leads to greenhouse greenhouse problem, right? So answer number 4, question option number 4 is the right answer. Next question, what precedes the woodland stage of hydrocity? We will take a reference here. So this is the picture of the hydrocity, and we can see all the stages over here. All the 7 stages are important, and what precedes woodland stage is meant that what comes after the woodland stage. So the climax stage is present after the woodland stage, and climax stage is also known as the forest stage. So from here, we of all the options, the number 1 is the correct option. Next, which serves as the good indicator of land productivity? Is it grassland, pond ecosystem, forest, or all of this? For land productivity, it is always the grassland which serves as a good indicator. More the grassland, more is the land productive, right? So answer number question and option number 1 is the right answer. Next question, which chemical toxicant causes knock-knee syndrome? Is it mercury, lead, cadmium, or fluorine? The answer is fluorine, which is responsible for the knock-knee syndrome. Next question, they have asked the full form of SCOPE. So is it scientific committee, scientific cooperation, scientific council, or scientific committee again? So there are 2 options of scientific committee indeed. It will be a scientific committee, but what after that? Is it the problems of the environment or the pollution of the environment? These 2 options are given us to make us confused, and we should not be confused, because the answer is problems of the environment and not pollution. We shall remember the definition, full form of the SCOPE. Yeah. So answer number 1, option number 1 is the correct answer. Next question, the regional biotic units delimited by the major vegetation type is known as 1. ecosystem, 2. landscape, 3. biome, and none. Well, regional biotic unit is referring to biome over here, because biome is where we talk about a particular region. Suppose if you say the tundra region, that is a particular biome, but landscape is a field of ecology, where we talk about the different ecosystems over there, and how the species are interacting over there. And what is ecosystem is, it can be anything. It's a pond ecosystem, it's a forest grassland ecosystem, the total of it. The biomes can have more than one ecosystem, right? So our answer is number 3 over here. Major vegetation type was also one keyword. Okay, next question. Most prevalent index organism for fecal contamination in groundwater is it Salmonella typhi, Escherichia coli, Streptococcus faecalis, and Clostridium perfringens? It's a logical question. We have to know that Escherichia coli, that is E. coli, is mostly found in the gut of human beings, so it comes out with the fecal matter also. So when fecal matter is found in the groundwater, it will have Escherichia coli. So our answer is number 2. Next question. Which one of the following processes helps in nutrient conservation? First, mineralization, nitrification, leaching, or immobilization. Mineralization is when the different kinds of mineral which are found in the soil is taken up by the plant. So here there is no scope of conservation, because the plant is taking it, so it's not conserved. it is being utilized. Next is nitrification. Nitrification is again when a particular type of compound of nitrogen is converted to another type nitrate, and it's taken in by the plant again to be utilized, so it's not again being conserved. Next is leaching. It happens when a soil is washed away due to flood or rain, and it carries away some mineral with it, so the particular minerals are lost or the nutrients are lost and therefore not conserved. Last one is immobilization. With the term immobilization, we can clearly understand that it's not moving, so it remains in a particular place, and we can relate it with the word conserve. It's conserved in a particular region. So our answer for this is number 4 only. Yeah. So the next question, in oceans the productivity is generally limited by, is it phosphorus, nitrogen, sulfur, or oxygen? The answer is oxygen, obviously. Oxygen is a limiting factor in the ocean, and when there is more oxygen, it can have a particular effect, and when there is a low oxygen also, all the species are affected. So oxygen, among these options, oxygen will be the most important factor which will limit the productivity in the oceans. Dissolved oxygen is present, right? So yeah, so here we have come to the end of 2014 question paper, and we can clearly see that there are so many questions, and which will affect, because that number of marks is dependent here. So ecology is the most important part. If you do the analysis, we should focus more on ecology. We shall solve the next year papers from 2015 to 2018 in different parts. We will end the video here. Hope the video was helpful for you.